You're watching The Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Hi guys, welcome back. It's me, Jena, and that's Bean.
Hi.
Hello. It's been a minute. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
That is a question that you have asked me. Hello.
Yeah.
I guess so I'm gonna let everybody know I've been gone for the last week and a half. I spent a week in North Carolina and then a couple of days in Baltimore. So yeah, I kind of miss it. Like when we were in Baltimore, we got to go to the Poe House. That was really cool. We got to meet Enrica, who's actually the head of Red Stylo, and she's the head of the Baltimore house. And it's just I've got to interview her before for the experience, and it was really cool. And then I got to meet her in real life, and I was like, oh wow, hi, we've talked before.
What's Red Stylo? I don't know off the top of my head.
Oh, it's a comic book company. Yeah, I'm just blanked out all the books. We have almost all of them here at the house, and we've got them up at the store too. But
let me do a Google because I want to know. I've probably read one of them or seen them at least.
Yeah, it's a cool company.
Yeah, they always are.
Those small indie companies, they kill it. They really kill it. Sorry, everybody. I just got done doing almost 4 hours of live shows at the store. My voice might be a little shot. Yeah, come off a vacation and do that. It was really cool because the first full day we were there, we went to a birthday party for Jay and his aunt because they have the same birthday. Mm-hmm. So Jay turned 40 and his aunt turned 60 on the same day, and they did a surprise party for her. And the surprise was Jay and his sister from Texas. And she was just like, oh my God. It was really cool. I thought it was really cool. And then she remembered me. She hadn't seen me in 10 years. And she was like, it's Jena. And I was like, oh, hi. I didn't know. Thanks for remembering me. And so that was really cool. And it was also my nephew's first time up in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. His name is Witten. He's cute. I think he's 3 now.
He is. Oh my goodness. I got to meet him twice, I think, when I was staying with you. He's got he's one of those kids that has double personality, just in the way that he has he's so small, but his personality is so big. It's just oh man, he cracked me up.
He's he can either play turkey or he can be the biggest personality in the room. There's no in between. It's one or the other. And it was actually our roommate Sean's first time at a pig picking. Just in case, do you know what a pig picking is?
I don't.
Okay, so a pig picking is you take a whole pig and you flay it open, and then you put it on the grill for 8 or 9 hours. In my family, we put it in the ground for 8 or 9 hours. And then everybody walks up and picks out the part of the pig, and they eat it right there. It's pig picking. Pick out some pig, put it on the plate.
That's wild.
Cool. It's good. They did an amazing job. The guys up there. It was delicious. It was a lot of fun. And then it's so scenic out there because they're literally so where we were staying was with Jay's grandparents, and right next door to them is like thousands of acres of soybeans because it's a farm. It's all farmland up there. And it's just as far as the eye could see was just soybeans. It was really cool. And then the town is literally one street. That's the whole town. I think there's a gas station, and that was it. That was the whole town. Was like his grandparents' house, and then his aunt's house, and then a gas station. And that was it. And then we drove. Sorry, guys. Excuse me. And then we drove, I think it was like a 30-minute drive to Roanoke Rapids. And they had something there called Biscuitville that changed my life.
What is Biscuitville?
So this place is really cool.
Wait, let me guess. Okay. So you take a biscuit and you flay it open. And you put it on a grill for 8 or 9 hours.
I don't know how delicious it was. I wouldn't doubt it. So they make biscuits every 15 minutes. And there's literally a guy standing there. It's called the biscuit window.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch him making biscuits every 15 minutes. He's mixing it up from scratch, cutting it out, and putting it through the oven. Because they had like a conveyor belt oven. So it was so good. Oh my God. If we ever got one of those in Texas, I'd be in trouble. They also had, oh my God, we ate there almost every day. What was it called? Oh my God, I just blanked out. Hardee's. They had Hardee's that make fresh biscuits every morning. We would go there because that's where Jay's grandpa liked to go in the morning. We would go there because it was like 15 minutes away instead of half hour away. And he gets this thing called an inside out dark biscuit.
What is that?
So it's a biscuit that they just cook twice.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when they cut it for him, instead of putting it back, like, because they cut them open and they put butter and then they close it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they cut it open, buttered it, and then didn't close it. They just like flipped it around. So like the butter and like the cooked parts on the inside, like they flip it inside out. And oh gosh, it was actually so good.
It's odd. I didn't realize that, because they had a Hardee's in my hometown growing up in Arkansas, but I didn't realize that they didn't have them here. But that Hardee's was like, it was like notorious for like how deeply unhealthy their food was.
Yeah.
And like it was so bad that like most of my family like wouldn't, like we never ate there because it was just like, and also I think that one in particular was like kind of sketchy. So
okay,
greasier than usual. So.
They had this one was like a newly built one, so everything was like shiny and clean. I say newly built, I think it was like a year or two old, but you know what I mean. And we ate there every day. We tried different things. Like I got the chili dog. The chili up there is no joke, by the way, guys. Like if you ever get a chance, the chili up there is no joke. And I got the chili dog and I got the chili cheeseburger. And then I got this chicken sandwich that, oh my gosh, it was the biggest chicken sandwich I've ever seen from a fast food place. I couldn't even finish it. Darn, it was so big. Ha. And then we actually drove up to Winston-Salem and we got to meet two really cool dudes, Alan Dunford and Will Radford. They were amazing. And we ate at this place that had like burgers and stuff like that. And some of the appetizers we got like popcorn shrimp and we got wings. And they had this honey chipotle sauce that I still dream about. I'm like drooling, excuse me. And we got to hang out with them, and they gave us some, like, they signed Jay's shirt on him, and that was so cool. And they tricked us. So we've talked to them many times. We talk to them almost every day. And so we were like, oh, Alan is like, you know, he always wears like a hoodie and he's got like his headphones on. And we're like, okay, so he's kind of like our height, you know, slim. No. Do you know what? This man came out of his vehicle and he's just muscle. And we're like, look at this underwear model. We're friends with an underwear model. You see this?
All I can imagine is like a regular guy's face, but just like pasted on an underwear model. Like,
that's what it looked like. We were like,
why wasn't he wearing any clothes? I'm confused.
Oh, and then Will gets out of the car. He starts talking. He's like instead of, because they're from West Virginia, on the countryside of West Virginia, and he does musicals and he does like plays and stuff like that. Is what he does. Like he writes like screenwrites and stuff like that. And no, he fooled us too. Rude. Like talking to these guys all the time. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, that's so crazy. And I know they're gonna see this because they watch all of our shows. So hi guys. Can't wait to see you again, probably next year or the year after. Because we were like, oh man, we gotta go. Jay just reminded me, it's called Sin with a C Burger Bar. And they had this mac and cheese. It was quite glorious. The burgers were just on point, outstanding. Yeah, if you guys ever go up there, please stop by there. And we also went to excuse me. We also went to this comic shop that was up there. It was open on a Sunday. We were, you know, I guess it's because we're used to the area that we're in. We went in there and it was really cool. And they had a lot of different store exclusives, and we picked up a couple of those. And it was really cool that we saw some very, very niche indie books there that we didn't know we would see anywhere else except for Kickstarter. We saw Karma by Dan Wickline was there on their shelf, and we were like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. Oh, it was called Salesfish with 2 S's. Yeah.
That's cool.
And then in Raleigh, we found this other comic book store called Ultimate Comics. That's what it was. And they just celebrated their 20th year. And they also opened up a second location in the mall. And their mall makes small malls look so small. They had over 200 stores in there. And they weren't all small stores. Like some of them were big. We were just like, this is crazy. Like we thought we lived in the city because we're down here in the Houston area. But we're like, okay, we live in the city. We know big malls, you know, whatever. Nope. It made the Galleria look tiny.
That's crazy because the Galleria has a whole Tesla dealership in it.
Yeah. This place was crazy. Like the comic book store in there is probably as big as probably gaming is. Mm-hmm. And they had, I almost got Miss Jen something. So we all know Miss Jen's favorite character is Cyclops.
Yeah.
Canon. Had a life-size standee of Cyclops. And I was like, oh, if I had room in the car, this is what I would get Miss Jen.
Mm-hmm. I would be, imagine though, driving like what, 9.5 hours with a site 26. Okay. Oh, you were saying you worked 9.5 hours today. That's
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm a little tired too. A little bit.
Yeah.
But just imagine 26 hours with a Cyclops standee in your car. You just like, you could just kind of, I know, fully joking, but you could just like bend him
Yeah.
And you could just like you could just keep him in the back of your car at all times, and you could go down the HOV lane because he
Yeah. Yeah, because I was like, you could prop him in the window and make him look like another person. Nobody's going to question it. They'll just be like, oh, cool visor. You're just like, the Cyclops, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, I think I love traveling and like going to comic shops in like even like in different parts of the same state. Well, Texas, you know, it's huge. But yeah, you get so used to like going to your comic shop and every week there's like new comics and you're like, oh, great. But you don't, and I think that for me, I think like, oh, like I see so many new comics because like, oh, look at all these new things. But then you go to other comic stores and you're like, there's worlds of comics that I haven't even seen. There's so many, and there's so many great ones. It's just like, and then you can go through their back stock.
Yes.
Already like dug, like all your local shops, like they're already all dug out of like everything that you collect.
Yeah.
Go somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was so the main area for Ultimate Comics. It was like new books, and like in the middle they have these two bookshelves of trades, and they have a wall of pops and statues. Then there's an arrow down a hallway. It was like, come this way, and you're like, okay. So you go through this door, and there's this long hallway, and at the end of the hallway there's two doorways. One says bathroom, one says back issues, and it's just long boxes upon long boxes upon long boxes. And I was just like, dude, I'm glad we have drawers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, because it was tables all around the room, and then there was like another 16 long tables in the middle of the room with just long boxes put out there, and they're like back issues, and I'm like, I don't even know where to start. And we used comicshoplocator.com. Yeah, we used that to try and find, because the areas we went to were small. So we were just like, let's just see if there's even one in the area, you know, because you type in comic shops in Google and it would be like Walmart. And we're like, I mean, Walmart had a couple. So we were just like, okay. So we used that website, and they were like, these are specific comics. And at first we were like, Salesfish? Why is there two S's? And then we went there and we were like, okay, this is cool. But your name still, why is there two S's? And we found exclusive like rare pops there too. Like the one from Faith is Pop Asia from Valiant. They were going to do a line that ended up getting canceled, and only the Faith Pop came out, and only a handful of them came out. We found one there, and I was like, I've never seen one before, so I had to grab it, and that was so cool.
Man, when we go to commercial break, you should definitely go grab all the stuff and like come back and do, because I want to see that one.
Okay.
I also want to see what cool stuff.
Oh, the coolest things that we found were actually at this, I'm going to call it an antique mall, because it was supposed to be an antique shop where they had booths and stuff. And none of the people were actually there. There was just one checkout like stand, and you just grab stuff from all the different like booths. And there was even a basement with like clothes and shoes and Christmas stuff. And it used to be a I think it was a timber mill or something that they gutted out and just filled with antiques. And it was just, the things that we found there, I almost cried. Like, never in my life. We ended up not getting this because the person wasn't there for us to get the key to get it. But it was a signed Tom Welling season 1 like print from Smallville. And I was like, oh my God. And then they had CGC, like old school Shazams in this case. And we were like, hey, can I look at this? And they were like, the person who has that key is not here today. I was like, darn it. So that's like, we're here for a day. Oh no.
Yeah.
And then But I did find full runs of like alien, like classic first printings of Alien comics there that I was just like, oh, I haven't seen like even the trade for this run. Thank you guys. This is amazing. Oh my gosh. And we found we found so much. It was crazy. There was a lot there.
I think that's where Miss Jen got started, was running a booth in one of those places. Yeah. So like definitely like if you're like, I feel like that's like a hidden gem to like go check out if you're trying to find another place to go look at comics.
Yeah.
That's where quite a few people get started, is they rent a booth and just start selling.
It was crazy because there had to have been like 100 different booths there.
Mm-hmm. And
there was only 2 people. Like we had the whole place to ourselves.
Yeah.
And we were there with his aunt and his uncle and his mom. So there's 5 of us in total. And we had the entire place to ourselves. And then, oh, I'm sorry. I have to tell this. This is funny. I found my dream shoe for a cosplay that I want to do. But there was only one.
Oh, no.
So me, Jay, Sean, and even Jay's uncle started helping us. We were looking through half of the whole like place under like in the basement with shoes in boxes. And we were looking everywhere and we couldn't find it. So we ended up taking a picture of it. Just like, okay, we're going to look this up later. Turned out it was from a high-end fashion company that doesn't exist anymore. And that shoe will haunt my dreams for the rest of my life. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was
maybe
beautiful.
you could just always take pictures with like one foot, like the other foot's like behind the bush.
I should have thought of that. That would have been great.
What was like cosplay?
Biker Harley Quinn.
Oh, see, you don't have a cape or anything with that one. Maybe you could you would just have to use like the bush. Oh, you could be like
behind the motorcycle or something.
Yeah, pull a Liefeld. Just look through some of his comics, all the ways that he hides feet. You could get so many ideas.
Yes. Oh my goodness. But we had so much fun up there. Jay got to meet 1 or 2 more new nieces and nephews that had been born since the last 5 years he'd been there. And my one and only complaint about going up there was we went to a Mexican restaurant and it was so bland. I felt so bad. I'm so spoiled on Tex-Mex. I'm so spoiled because like I got the cheese enchiladas with rice, right? The rice came out white. I was like, this is just regular white rice. Where's the Spanish rice? And they were like, what? I was like, okay. And then like there was no sauce on the enchiladas. And I was like, this is not Tex-Mex. This is Northern sadness. Mex.
Yeah.
I was so sad. But that is literally the only complaint I had for up there. Even the weather was in the 70s. I think the hottest it got was maybe like 81, 82. And there was no humidity. I'm sorry. That is one of my complaints. It was so dry up there. It was dry. It was dry.
It was dry and there was no seasoning on that rice.
Yeah. What's up with that? And what makes me the saddest about coming home is, so the way that we drove from Baltimore back to home was as soon as we crossed the border into Texas, it went up from, I think it was 76, 77 to 90. It went from low humidity to high humidity. It went from we could just drive with our windows partially down and feel comfortable to, oh my God, roll up the window. The sun is outside. Please turn on the AC. We didn't even use AC almost the whole time we were there. Like, oh, it feels so good. Somebody complained it was hot. And we were just like, okay.
We'll have our like 3 weeks of cold.
Oh gosh, somebody told me something funny. Like Texas doesn't have fall. Like there's not a whole season of fall. It's like they're like, oh, but the leaves are supposed to fall, and I'm like, it's more like the leaves fell. There's no fall. We have hot, too hot, preheat the oven hot. The oven is really hot. Oh, hey, look, there's a breeze. Look, there's freezing, and then hot. That's Texas season. And then where we drove down, we drove through, I think it was a mountain because it was very hilly, and they were like, watch for rock slides and mudslides. I'm like, man, I haven't had to watch for these since I drove through the mountains to like Washington or California. So what do you know of rock slides? And I was like, oh, wait, nope, that's mountain. Okay, they know rock slides. Never mind, I retract the statement. I'm sorry. But we got some, it was gorgeous landscapes on the way there and on the way back. But there was 2 of us who drove the entire way there. We drove straight through, where somebody would try to sleep for like 3 or 4 hours and then we would switch. Oh, like it was really cool to be able to get there fast. I say fast. It took us to North Carolina. It took us 23 hours. And then we drove to Baltimore for another 4 hours, our last couple of days. And then on the way back from Baltimore to here in Houston was 26 hours. I missed the weather up there already. Oh, but they have things that we don't have that I don't think would make me live up there. Just like they have this, so I was looking, they were like, oh yeah, this is a luxury tax. And I was like, luxury tax? I'm like, yeah, comics are considered a luxury, so it's got an additional tax to it. And I was like, are you kidding me? And then we stopped in Baltimore. We stopped at this Irish pub. I think it's Mike O'Shea's. And the taxes on alcohol up there are almost as much as the drinks up there.
That's crazy. So
we were like, I had 1 drink and then we walked away. Oh, that was something really cool. That was a cool story. Me and Sean went up to this pub and I was like, hey, I'm having a little bit of homesickness. Do you know what a Texas sweet tea is? And she's like, no, but if you tell me what's in it, I can try and make it. I was like, cool. It's vodka lemonade, vodka tea, and a sweet and low, Texas sweet tea. And she was like, well, I don't have any of that. So how about this? I'm going to make you a drink that's similar, and you tell me if it's good. She brings me this drink, and it was so good. It was like a half and half, and she was like, we don't have sweet and low, so I put sugar in it. I'm like, that's perfect. The reason it's a sweet and low usually is because a lot of places down here don't have real sugar. So totally fine with real sugar. And it was like vodka lemon drop and regular tea and a packet of sugar. And I was like, thank you. That's all I needed. And she was like, I'm going to write that one down. Because this was really cool. She was like, what do you call it? I was like, Texas sweet tea. They had something really cool. They had their windows open. People could walk up and ask for like sodas and water. And that was really cool too.
That's neat. Yeah. I feel like the first half of this episode should be called like Jenna Burns Parts Unknown. Like the Anthony Bourdain show.
Yeah.
Now you gotta say something like deep and insightful before we go to commercial break.
Deep and insightful. Don't have a 9-day vacation and then come back and work 20 hours in 2 days.
It's wise. It's wise. We're gonna all ruminate on that, and we'll be right back.
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit ComicShopLocator.com to find a store near you.
Who would win, Batman or Superman? It's the age-old debate, except it's so much more complicated than that. Nerd Killer Warfare every week on The Experience is your chance to debate other nerds in the questions we've all been asking for years, except we take those debates and turn them up to 11. Go to bit.ly/EXP casting or scan the QR code to be part of the show.
You just finished the last episode of your favorite new show, and you just have to talk about it. But all your friends are ghosting you because of that incident last week at the buffet. Oh, you know the one. What you did to that chowder. Ugh. Keeps me up at night. So what do? Join writer Dan Wickline as he breaks down all your favorite pop culture media. Whether it's a review of the latest nerdy TV show or a dive back into the history of your favorite comic characters, Dan's ready to discuss all the hottest topics live. Join the conversation as Dan live streams Tuesday through Thursday at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. The Dan Wickline Show on The Experience. Comic culture and sales.
Hi, I'm Hedwig Hale, author of She Bites. You're watching The Experience.
It's show and tell time.
It is. So this was the Faith Pop I was telling you about. You see how it says like Faith? But look how amazing she is. What's funny is none of these pops ever got made. Only this one pop.
That's crazy.
I love her. This was the one that I found at the antique shop.
Whoa. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What is I can't see like super good on my screen, but like what's the sticker? Is it like an exclusive to somewhere?
Yeah, it was a 2020 summer convention exclusive, means it was just shared exclusive with San Diego Comic-Con. So it was a limited one where it's Marty checking his watch with the goggles up. So
yeah.
And the other one said convention exclusive 2016 #1. So that was cool. What do I have next to me? Oh, yeah. So this is the 1 through 5 complete series first printings of Aliens versus Predators that we found at the antique store. And they are like sharp corner edges, but they're put in this giant like sandwich like freezer bag that we found it. And I was like, this is crazy. This is the entire series. Do you know how hard it is to find like #1? Mm-hmm. It's insane. And everybody knows that the Alien series are my favorite series. We got Aliens Hive #1.
Ooh.
I know, right? And then, these are reprints of Pocus Hocus #1. They were done by Bad Bug. These are the first time ever for Source Point. And they signed them for us. Yeah.
Oh, so cool.
There's that cover. They gave us one of each cover. And I had them sign it like right there. It was so cool. So yeah, it's the it's the #1 covers, but now they say Source Point instead of Bad Bug. And then the trade is the holofoil trade.
Whoa.
Yeah. Look how pretty this is.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is super cool.
So the next 5 books that we got were the Sales Fish in-stores exclusives. Excuse me. So we got, it's shiny, and I don't know if it's going to come off on camera, but the red part is all shiny. Eternal Warrior #1.
Yeah.
It's so pretty. It's beautiful. And then just come out Hawkeye, done by, I can't remember the name of the artist, and it's going to kill me. But Hawkeye #1 is the person who also did like Stray Dogs. Got to do a cover, and it says "Arf, arf, arf."
Yeah.
They also did one for Daredevil.
Oh.
Yes.
Upper.
I know. It says Seeing Eye Dog. It says Guard Dog, Do Not Pet. And I just thought that was so cute. And then this is the Bloodshot cover Like it was their story exclusive. They did one for Bloodshot for the Book of Death for Valiant #1.
Yeah.
And then this is the one that I was like, I need this cover because A, it's one of my favorite characters, and B, it's one of my favorite storylines. So the in-store exclusive for Salesfish, Secret Wars #1 with live wire on the cover.
That's amazing. Oh my god.
And then we got a couple of ones from Ultimate Comics, and they have a website. It's Ultimate Comics #1, and I just thought that the bag, like, look at their little like logo first.
Oh yeah.
All right, so their in-store exclusive for Demon Days Cursed Web was a Scotty Young variant.
Oh my god. It looks amazing. Oh.
And then we thought we were going to miss this because we were in North Carolina when it got released. But it's the Star Trek Lower Decks done by the same artists who do Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I need to watch that. I still haven't.
It's good. And then I got the hardcover of the Sword.
Sword.
Yes.
Oh, the Sword of Hyperbole. I can read.
Thank you. So this is one of the side stories from BPRD, which is a Hellboy collection.
Mm-hmm.
So that is everything that we got in North Carolina that isn't food related.
Yeah.
Because so Jay also has this thing where anytime we go to North Carolina, we buy usually like 4 or 5 packs of like Mellow Yellow. Mm-hmm. Because he can't find that down here, and that's his favorite drink. So we had bought a couple of like 12 packs, and they're already gone. They were mostly gone because we took him back to his grandfather's house, his granddad's house, and his granddad was like, "Can I have one?" And they were like, "You can have as many as you want, Granddaddy." Mm-hmm. And he did. I was like, I know what to get you for holidays now. Your own 12-pack. Oh, and then, so also in the mall in Salem, Winston, they had this store. We thought it was a gaming store because it was, said games across the top. And I was like, oh, we'll go check it out because they had classic games for like GameCube and N64. And then on the other half of the store, they had little bitty baby figures like this. Sailor Pluto. She's so cute. Awesome. Right here on my desk. And then they also had, crazy exclusive pops. We found the toucan. That's the like mascot for San Diego Comic-Con. And I was like, that's crazy. You can only get that at San Diego Comic-Con. It's not a share exclusive anywhere else. And then they also had plushies from Japan. And we were just like, oh my God, it's so pretty. So cute. And so, yeah, it was really cool to see. Oh, we were also in Baltimore. We were staying in a hotel called Lord Baltimore that was supposedly haunted. Mm-hmm. We'll see. I didn't see anything. So, yeah, learning the history about this hotel was crazy because this apparently was one of the hotels that people were running up during the crash of the stock market and jumping off.
Whoa.
And I was like, okay. We get there. And it's like, oh, we're under renovations. But the elevator at one point wouldn't let me leave the 14th floor.
Oh, no.
And that's the only thing that happened while we were there is so what you do is you put your key card on the thing and you hit your floor. We were on the floor, so I put it on there and I hit 12 and it wouldn't work. So I was like, well, maybe let me try again. And I put it on there and I hit 12. I was like, well, maybe my key card's defective. Mm-hmm. So Sean tried his key card. None of the buttons would work. So I put my key card and I just hit all the buttons and only 4 lit up. And then we get to the 14th floor and we're like, okay, I couldn't open the door to the staircase. And we're like, okay, let's try this again. So we put it on there and we were like, I'm pushing buttons. Nothing. It couldn't leave the 14th floor for like 10 to 15 minutes. And then somebody else was like going up. And we're like, can you hit this button? Like, and they did, and we went down. I was like, cool. Just gonna stay in the room now.
Yeah.
But so yeah, if you guys ever go to Lord Baltimore, you may get stuck on the 14th floor.
Beware the elevator.
All of them. There's 4 elevators.
Mhm.
We tried 3 different elevators. It's just like, okay, we live on the 14th floor now.
That's so creepy.
I didn't think anything of it. I was like, whatever. They're under construction. They were modeling. They were so they normally have a bar on the rooftop, and they were remodeling that. So we were just like, whatever. Everybody else would have been like, "Ooh, the ghostesses," and I'm like, if this is what they've got, okay. I mean, it's a nice hotel. Oh, something that was funny at the hotel was on the walls, and I've got pictures of them. I'll have to send them to you later, where they would like look up stuff, and it says on the bottom, it's like a big collage of random things that's like around Baltimore, right? And on the bottom, it says Google image search. So they're collages for Google image searches that they printed out, and they're all over them. Because like there was one where they looked up, it says Edgar Allan Poe. So we went to the Poe house. That was really cool. And it was like Edgar Allan Poe, Google image search. And one of the pictures was like some baby dressed up as Edgar Allan Poe. I was like, okay, I've seen it all now.
It's great.
And then another one that I saw, it was the Lord Baltimore Google image searches. And it was like pictures of the hotel at the top, and then like the last like 4 images was like, I guess there's an actual Lord named Lord Baltimore out there. So it looks like this dude dressed in like uniform. And I was like, did nobody like check these before they framed them? And they're all like professionally framed looking. Like before they were framed and put up, did anybody just like look at some of these? Oh, there was one, I can't remember the name of the singer, but it's a singer that's from Baltimore. And he's an old white dude in most of the images, but then on like a couple of the images was a basketball court. And I'm just like, okay, I am missing some context here. And I love it. I took a picture of it. But I thought that was so cool. We got to visit the Edgar Allan Poe house because Poe Fest is coming up in October. And they shut down the whole street. And it's going to be really cool because they have like catacombs you can go through. People can get married there. Because our friend Kyle's going to be there. He's ordained. And so if you've got your marriage license, make sure you hit up the Edgar Allan Poe Fest. Poe Fest, whatever. I think it's Poe Fest. It's Poe Fest, yeah. And like you can walk all the way down to his grave. And I was just like, oh my God, that would be so cool. I'm going next year for sure. But now that I have taken up almost the whole hour, what have you been up to? What have you been reading? What have you been watching?
So I read one of my like new favorite things, which I always thought was going to be my favorite thing, but I read the full like main storyline of Black Hammer. One. And so like basically all through like the event, like where they're on the farm and they're like trying to figure out like what's going on, and like all the way to when they actually do finally find out what happened and why they're there and what's going to happen next. Oh my God. It was so good. And I just love that story so much. And like I knew because I had read one of the like kind of like side, like I guess from like the world of Black Hammer, where they did like a bunch of different stories. But all I could like keep thinking is that like The Boys is supposed to be like about how like superheroes suck. And I'm getting it right? Garth Ennis. Is that
Yeah.
one?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was like, I hate superheroes. I'm gonna make everyone else hate superheroes too. Now everybody's like, yeah, The Boys, yeah, Homelander. Everybody's like so hyped about it.
Yeah.
And like I feel like Jeff Lemire, I don't know if he meant to, but if you read Black Hammer, it will depress you so badly. Like it's like it is like an anti-superhero story. It's so depressing. Like Golden Gale, like oh my god, like just everything in it is so sad. Every single one of them. And I think he did a better job of making like an anti-superhero story by accident than The Boys did. Because I love Black Hammer, but like you read it and you just some of them you're just so sad by the end of it. And it's just like, oh my god, like it's just everyone is just like sad and their loved ones die and like they're like faced with their own mortality or immortality. And it's wonderful, but like I said, it does just make you be like, superheroes suck.
Does it make you feel like superheroes suck or their lives as superheroes suck?
It like takes away all of the glamour from them. It really does. And it's so good. Like I love it. But yeah, like just the fact that he made that and there's a whole meta issue in there where literally it's like the comic creator's brain and they're like coming out of his ears to escape and like all this crazy stuff, and you see all the other like creators who are like thinking of things. The comic does the craziest things ever.
Crazy.
And have you seen, because one of my favorite covers, because of course when you're reading like the trades, it has all of the covers collected, and he did a Liefeld like spoof cover.
Oh my gosh, no! But I'm
that, and it's for when oh my god, I can't. I'm so bad with names. One of the characters basically is like, I'm old, my costume is faded. I'm gonna try and update it and be cool. And he just puts a bunch of pouches all over himself because that's what's cool. And he does like a bunch of weird padding, and then it's so good though.
I don't know. I like pockets.
Yeah, it's just the pouches, just the gratuitous pouches. Like, how are you even going to find anything in battle?
You have to label everything.
Yeah. Oh. But so I read that and I loved it. I haven't gotten done going through all of the world of Black Hammer, but yeah, I read the main story and it was great. And then I watched... Finally, I'm going to say I finally watched Over the Garden Wall. Have you seen that one?
I don't know, maybe.
Okay, so it's like a Cartoon Network animated series.
Oh, okay.
A long time ago. Yeah, and it's really short. I didn't realize because they're only like 12 minutes long each, and there's like 10 or 11 of them, and that's it.
Oh.
And evidently they continued... I don't really know how they would have continued the story, but I think that they just kind of like fleshed out the series and like had more stories, but exclusively in comic form.
Okay.
Which is cool. And now I need those. But I started watching it, and of course, because everybody around fall time and around like Halloween is like, because it's got very spooky themes. It's really good. I love it. If you haven't seen it, I know you would love it. I know you will.
I have to scrounge up some time.
Yeah. Like I said, luckily it's not long. I think it's really good too for just like throw on one, watch it, and then go do something else.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there like, wow, some of these voices are familiar. Yeah, and they have, I don't know how, but they have Elijah Wood is the main character.
Okay.
And then they have Christopher Lloyd. as like one of the other, like not like main characters, but like kind of like the main. He's kind of like a bad guy through part of it, but I was just like, how did they convince these two really famous actors to like do this show? This is crazy.
There are so many like little shows out there that have such famous, like crazy famous people in it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Like there's this Leonard Nimoy song where he sings about a hobbit. And I can't believe that for the first almost 25, 26 years of my life, I didn't know about it. And then I was so mad. And then I found it.
Oh, but here's a question, which we can address it in another episode if it's going to take you too much time. But have you started watching Rings of Power or seen any of that?
Okay, so we watched the first 3 episodes last night. Literally. Like we had to stop. And so my uncle just called and he just asked if me and Jay were watching a show called Little Demon.
Oh, I want to see that. Is it out?
It's on Hulu. Like the first few episodes are out on Hulu. And I think it's made by the same people who did Inside Job, because watching some of it, it has like an Inside Job like feel to it, but with the Antichrist as a girl.
Yeah.
I love it so much. It's so good. But back to Rings of Power. So yeah, we watched the first 3 episodes, and as somebody who has read all the books and has most of it memorized, I am not mad at it.
Okay.
Like there's a couple of moments that did make me kind of be like, where did this come from? Like I know there are some parts where they have to fill it in themselves because they're taking in a bunch of like side stories and putting it together. But like at the same time, I know there was a lot of people really upset about the dwarves not having beards. Like dwarf women don't have full beards like the dwarf men do, but they do have beards. And so my biggest complaint so far is the prince's wife, the dwarf prince's wife, didn't have a beard and she was too darn pretty. She was too pretty.
Yeah.
That is so far my biggest complaint in the first 3 episodes. Now, does it feel like they've kind of twisted a couple of the stories and characters to kind of make it work? Yeah, but it's TV land. They've got to figure out how to do that. Does baby Gandalf make me a little sad? Just a little bit, but he had to start somewhere, right?
Yeah. Is he literally a baby? Is it like a Grogu moment where he's just
No. No, it's he do be looking young-ish, though.
my God.
I've been calling him baby Gandalf.
Did they make him really hot? Like just
No, they did not. Like he's still old man, but not like, let's say 60s.
Yeah.
He looks like he's in his 60s. Like his beard's not, and his hair is not long, but he's got beard and hair, and it does still have some color to it. I mean, he did just crash land into Earth as an asteroid, so I mean, I think once he gets a shower or clean off some of that soot from crash land into Earth, I think he will. And this is just my guess. We don't know who the character actually is yet. But my guesstimation is it's baby
Gandalf.
Baby Gandalf.
Nice.
Just because it's little things throughout here and there where it's like Gandalf has this trust of the little folk, and I believe they're setting us up. Have you seen any of it?
No, not yet.
I'm trying to say this without spoiling it. I believe the way they're setting it up is because baby Gandalf pretty much became Gandalf with the folk that he's with now, which are, and I will fight everybody tooth and nail with this, those are not hobbits. Fight me. Not physically, though. They're not hobbits. They are, so everybody knows how like river folk, which is what Gollum Schmeagol came from. He was river folk, are kind of like cousins of hobbits, right? Yeah, I believe that's what That's what these grand little folk are.
Okay.
But
I'm so excited to watch Little Demon.
Yeah.
So what it's called? Okay.
Yeah, it's
I've been really thinking about I've been really wanting to read the series Baby Teeth.
Oh my God, I love that series. If you want it, I have every trick. I have it all.
Yeah, I might borrow it from you because it's kind of hard to find, weirdly. Yeah. It was like popular, but popular in a little bit of a culty way.
Yeah,
it
is.
So yeah, I've been trying to find it, and I just and of course you can't order it. So
I think what I have is the first 12 or 11, like 10 or 11 issues. And then the rest I think you can get in trade form, which is like volumes 2 or 3. And I think that's all there was 3 volumes. I'll have to look again. But so this series, you know the premise of the series, right? Like,
the very basic where it's like the Antichrist is born.
Yeah. So for anybody out there, Baby Teeth is done by Aftershock. It's a completed series, and it's about this 16-year-old girl who has an immaculate pregnancy, and it is the Antichrist, and he is causing the earthquakes when she goes into labor, and she has to deal with everybody thinking that she slept with somebody and just won't name the father. Mm-hmm. And she also has to deal with a demon dog that shows up to be best friends with the baby. And she's also trying to raise him to not be the Antichrist. And no part of this is nice. Mm-hmm. Like the premise of it sounds funny, but it is very dark and very serious because it deals with things like at one point her father thinks that she was, SA'd, and that's how she became pregnant. So he's like, who did this to you? Let me help you. And she's like, nobody did this to me. Like, this just happened. Mm-hmm. And then, like, nobody believes her. And she has to move, and she drops out of school. She has to keep moving. She gets jobs, and she wants to provide for her baby. And it's like, there are cute moments because it is a baby. Yeah. And a demon dog who's like this big and has wings, but like from here down like a demon, from here up like a puppy. It's adorable and it has its moments, but it's so well drawn and so well told that it's just like you can't put it down. It's such a good book.
Yeah. I've wanted to read it for a while. It's just hard to find. So
yeah, we'll have to get together. I'll have to lend you the first few, and then we'll have to talk about it again. Yes. And on that note, hopefully that's what we can talk about next week then. Talk about some dark horrors from the deep down.
That will be fun. That will be very fun. All right.
And hopefully I'll have my voice back.
Yes. All right. This has been Space Cadets. I am still Bean after this episode. This is still Jena without the voice, but she'll get that back. And thank you for hanging out with us this week. We will see you again next time. Bye.
Bye.